Welcome to the Horror Friendly Podcast.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to a brand new episode of the Horror Friendly Podcast. We are doing something a little different for the next, month or so. We have decided again to come back from last year and cover a handful of the films that are being premiered at Fright Fest this year, the 2025 Fright Fest. And this time I have Chantal joining me for the event. So we're really excited and I hope you enjoy the episode.
Okay, so the next film we're going to be covering for Fright Fest 2025 is Bambi, The Reckoning. Directed by Dan Allen and written by Felix Salten and Reese Warrington. After a mother and son get in a car wreck, they soon become hunted by Bambi, a mutated, grief-stricken deer on a deadly rampage, seeking revenge for the death of his mother. Katie, you're smirking.
Just the way you narrated it, it was beautiful.
Just trying to keep
a grief-stricken deer.
Okay, I'm going to start there. Grief is a journey. Grief is with you for life. But this Bambi is quite fully grown.
Mm-hmm.
Has he not been to therapy?
I don't know if there's much therapy in the woods.
I'm not saying he needs to get over it, but has he been terrorizing people for how many years? Because he's a big deer.
Yeah,
he's not a baby deer anymore.
Yeah, I guess he's a mutated deer.
Yeah.
That's kind of largely misunderstood because I was fucking rooting for Bambi at the end of this.
No, it's harder as well because I'm if you saw your mother murdered in front of you,
yeah, not ideal.
Not ideal. But also, this is a serious sentence, guys. But if, say, for example, in this case, hunters. Actually, I would go after every hunter I could.
Yes.
But so I take it back. But Bambi is, I'm assuming fully going. Jesus Christ. Can he keep going?
I don't know. He had fucking muscles. He had he was a big boy.
He looked like an extra from Lord of the Rings. He was like a fucking elk.
Yeah, he was.
I feel like I've given it away because is that a surprise that he's that big?
No, I feel is that not in the trailer?
I'm gonna double check the trailer. Because on the poster you can see it's a deer.
Yeah, I mean, you can see he's pretty angry there. So I
don't think the anger was up for debate, but it's the
of
size him that was shocking.
True. There's another poster here. Hang on.
Actually, a really chill dude. It's just because it's full moon. He's like a fucking zombie. Zombie? What comes out of full moon? Werewolves. Werewolf. Bambi.
Where Bambi.
Where dear.
Yeah. So one thing I did enjoy actually was the opening was kind of similar to Winnie the Pooh and how it started. And I remember when we watched Winnie the Pooh, that is something that we praised.
Yeah.
One of the few things that we did praise. So I did like that because I just enjoy that opening. I just think it kind of entices you in a bit more and makes you think, oh cool, this is what we're getting into, what are we getting in for right now, kind of thing.
It takes you back to your childhood when you see the stories written like that.
Yeah.
And as you said, it's part of that universe. So I think I like that they all start that way. Well, I say all, haven't seen the Peter Pan one.
No, because yes. No, because yes. What does that mean?
That is the English language. That was a genuine sentence.
Ridiculous. So it's the fourth installment in the Twisted Childhood universe.
Yeah.
So as we discussed, I believe, we've got Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey, Peter Pan, and we have this one. So yeah. I don't know. I mean, I was definitely on Bambi's side pretty much the whole time. I felt like a lot of the characters were the worst. So yeah.
I actually wrote down when the teenager fucking sucks.
Oh,
he's the worst.
He is the worst. And I get he's meant to be, but
yeah.
And he had
he had a lot going on.
He had a lot going on. Yes.
He was the worst before that started.
Yes, for sure. Yeah. One thing I did notice in this film was a
Mm,
lot of horror references, which
yeah.
I did think was very fun. I noticed some Scream ones in there, The Shining, Krampus, and a Jurassic Park little reference as well. So
Ah.
yeah, there were a few things I did pick up on, which I thought was quite fun. So it was really nice. So one thing I will say about the film is that like you can tell that the writers and the director like their love of horror films is coming through with this film. Like you can tell that they've put their heart and soul into this. But yeah, just maybe for us, it didn't kind of register as much on screen.
Well, I made a note. I was like, I wonder if the Twisted Childhood ones would work better as horror comedies. Maybe they're supposed to be, and the jokes just aren't landing for us. But I feel like they're trying to make it serious.
Mm,
But the problem is, and again, spoilers. I mean, it's not really a spoiler because unfortunately, you're not going to really be able to train a deer to do all this. But like Bambi is very CGI'd. And I just
mm,
think we all know how fast CGI moves. In a year or two, Bambi didn't look great. Bambi's gonna look worse. So I was like, at least if you'd made this horror comedy, people would be more forgiving of that.
mm,
Whereas because it almost felt like it was trying to be a really scary horror, like that just it takes you out of it every fight because you're like, well, that's fake. Like,
mm,
so I feel like would these films work? The same with like the Winnie the Pooh, would it have worked better as a comedy?
mm,
Like, and I think they would. And I think
mm,
they're all trying to take themselves really seriously. And I don't think it's landing every time.
mm. I definitely think Blood and Honey was definitely taking itself more seriously. I do think that like there are some like tongue-in-cheek lines with the Twisted Childhood universe. So I think I know what you mean. I think it definitely does like take itself more seriously, but I think there are things in there that kind of like bring you back and it is a little bit more tongue in cheek. But this one, not really. I agree with you. Like this one was quite a serious film.
Yeah.
And like, yeah, just yeah. So it didn't really have those kind of one-liners and things that I did see in Blood and Honey. And like it didn't really have that. So I know what you mean. Like
Yeah.
maybe this one was taking itself a bit too seriously.
Yeah. And again, I think especially if you're, for like my example of CGI, but if you're going to use that, we all know how quick that's going to age.
Mm,
So, like, it would have been better to have made it a comedy. I also just think, again, it's a story about a deer. Like, they're not the scariest animals.
yeah.
Like, I literally saw three this weekend and we were stood staring at each other. Like, and I knew if I stepped forward, it would run away. Now, I know this is, a
This
deer
is
with trauma, but like, again, it's not the scariest animal. So to take it seriously just feels a bit ridiculous.
mm. Yeah, I
Such
know.
an odd sentence.
I know what you mean. Um, I do have a fun note here, which I didn't realize I wrote was Bambi opens the door with its hooves, which I'd noticed several times throughout the film
Yeah.
that Bambi could open doors. So that
Yeah.
was a fun little surprise for me.
But again, just on the size of Bambi, like, was it even having to use the handles, just smashing the door in?
Yeah, well, it did because it
Yeah.
turned the knob.
Yeah, with its hoof,
Yeah,
which is
it
just
did.
insane.
When you're mutated, you can do all sorts of shit, I guess.
It's
Um,
just, yeah,
Yeah, I did also write here that I felt like it did suddenly get into it. And don't get me wrong, like I love a quick film. I like, a horror film, certainly a horror film like this that just gets straight into it. But I felt like it almost got into it too quickly. Like
yeah,
to me, there wasn't quite enough backstory for you to be really rooting for the characters. I don't know. I would have liked a little bit more of that. I felt like it actually got into it too quickly and you weren't able to get to know anyone and kind of
no.
get to know I don't know. I know you didn't need to know that much, but I would have preferred a little bit more plot.
No, you're right. If you're supposed to root for people, you need a reason to care about them. And we
Mm,
weren't really given that. But the same with Bambi, again, like we weren't really given a reason to root for him. So it was just kind of like watching chaos a little bit.
mm. I felt like more towards the end I was rooting for Bambi.
Yeah. Which,
Mm,
yeah, because
yeah.
again, they made some of the human
Yeah.
characters very unlikable, which I think some of them were supposed to be. And others were, yeah, like it wasn't necessarily they were unlikable, you just didn't care.
Mm.
And you were just
That's the thing. Yeah.
indifferent to them.
Yes. Yeah. And I think the horror changes a lot when you're not rooting for someone.
Yeah.
You're not rooting for the final girl. Like it does change things when you are watching a film like this. Like you do need a likable character. You need someone that you're going to be rooting for till the end.
Yeah.
So that's kind of what it was missing.
Yeah. No, definitely. Um, I did write down shit taxi driver, and I'm only willing to say that because that was in the first like 2 minutes. Um, but again, just like that kind of made me chuckle. And I thought,
Mm.
based off that, I was like, oh, this could be a little bit more lighthearted. Also, that so I'll say it because I don't think it's a spoiler. It's just a bit of a cliche that you see in quite a few films. But why is it when someone's like having a vision or a manic episode, they're suddenly the most incredible artist? And they can do like scratch drawing. But this isn't just Bambi. This is so many films that do this. And I'm like, why is
Yeah.
it that this is it? We're gonna have to try it next time we meet up. Is one of us get really hyper or wake up from a nightmare and
You.
see if we can scratch and work out. I love how you assumed it would be me. Have a nightmare and try and scratch it. I like because it just always cracks me up that they suddenly know how to draw.
Yeah, and they're like fucking great at it.
Yeah, and so many artists are there on like trying to sell their art. Like, are you fucking kidding me? This one took me hours, and that one took them 5 minutes of scribbling. Like,
Yeah.
and don't get me wrong, that style of art is actually really impressive, but it's not that like it just makes it's such a cliche. Comes up.
I know it is. Yeah, it does. It's a good old horror cliche.
It is, and it does keep happening. But yeah.
I actually thought the violence in this film was pretty effective.
Okay.
I thought some of the kills were fun. Yeah, I think again, like CGI was obviously heavily used in this film, but I think the execution of the murders, I think like the way they were done, I thought was pretty creative. It was pretty fun. I'm not going to get too much into it, obviously, because I don't want to spoil it. But yeah, I don't know. I thought they were kind of effective. What did you think?
Yeah, no, I think you're right, actually. I think some of them are quite good. I think some of them we have seen at least the idea before, if not executed exactly the same way. But so I did think it was yeah, it was nice that they weren't all just like, oh, stomped by Bambi. Like there was other elements and other ways that people were falling and
Yeah.
more going on.
Yeah. Let's just say it wasn't all Bambi. See, that's not going to get you guys wanting to watch it.
I did also think it
But
interesting that obviously it was a mother and a son that were the main characters we were following, because obviously Bambi and her mum, Bambi and his mum, sorry, literally just said some. So, but again, you're there like, well, come on, Bambi, like you know better than this, but nope, doesn't matter, Bambi.
no, Bambi's mutated.
It's
It's too far
really,
gone.
it's really hard to take it seriously when it's like naughty Bambi. But they also used Bambi's name, so it wasn't even like they gave the deer a different name to make it scary. It was like literally like Bambi.
Yeah. Yeah, it didn't. Yeah, I mean, I think it was just fully just on a plate. Like this is Bambi. Just take it or leave it, you know?
You read the title, you know what's coming, and everyone's like, sure.
Yeah.
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 Who would you recommend this to?
I think that anyone that's a fan of like the Twisted Childhood universe, I think if you've watched the Winnie the Pooh ones, if you've watched Peter Pan, which we haven't watched yet,
I've watched it.
we'd love to watch her. But yeah, I think anyone that's a fan of those, I think will equally enjoy this film. I will say I think I preferred the second Winnie the Pooh slightly more than this.
I was going to ask that. Like, which ones did you prefer?
Yeah, I think I prefer Blood and Honey if I'm honest, but this is certainly better than, I can't rate Peter Pan, but certainly better than the first one that we've covered on the podcast. Yeah, I thought that Roxanne McKee as Zana, I thought she was a very good actor in this. And there were some really good themes in there. I liked how there were a lot of horror references. I felt like it, as I said before, you could really tell kind of where the director's minds were at. But to me, unfortunately, I just don't think cool idea, just not as well executed as I would have liked.
Yeah.
I think I would have just liked a little bit more movement in it personally. But so yeah, so I would say anyone that's a fan of those kind of films, anyone that's kind of fan of like a sort of silly horror film, give it a go. See what you think. It'd be really interesting to hear your reviews. But yeah, what about you, Tal? Who would you recommend it to?
No, I think you're right. Kind of, it's kind of pizza party because I think if you're not taking it too seriously, like it's not a comedy, but I could see people like cheering on Bambi and like making it a bit chaotic. I think it's hard when the audience don't want to take it seriously, but the film is taking itself seriously. And I was like, it doesn't really work. You need the audience and the film to be on the same page. So yeah, I'd say like, yeah, but if you're watching it with friends and making a laugh of it and making light of it, I think it'd be good. Or yeah, I think it is, again, there's so many of the Twisted Childhood films coming out that I do think that they're just gonna have a following. I don't know what they're doing next. So that'll be interesting.
Let us know if you know, but
Interesting.
And
what are you giving this out of 5?
I'm going to give this 2.5 out of 5. As I said, to me, there just wasn't quite enough like substance in it. And I kind of lost interest halfway through, if I'm completely honest. At the end, as we were saying, Tell, I felt like we weren't really rooting for anyone. And it kind of just fell off the end for me. But I will praise, I really liked the references in it. I thought some of the kills were quite fun and different. And some of the acting, I think, was effective as well. So, yeah. What about you?
So I'm going to give it 2. I think, similar to you, I think the kills are quite good. But I just think the CGI let it down so much, really took me out of it. I did like Samira Mighty, actually. I think her character was quite fun. Like, again, like, as the first introduction to her was like a couple of really good one-liners. So I think straight away we were like, oh, kind of the comic relief, but also there for reasons. And yes, I thought she was really good in it. But yeah, definitely an audience for it. I just don't think it was us.
Yeah, for sure. Definitely an audience out there. Again, let us know if you've watched it, what you think. Did you see it at Fright Fest? We want to know. And follow us on socials for any updates about Bambi. Bambi actually also has its own Instagram, so we'll link that. And yeah, you can find out a bit more about the film and when it's available for you guys to watch.
Until then, bye.
Bye.